I'm Joshua. I am 16 years old and I am a senior in school. I'm in year 11. I like skateboarding, going down to my local park. I currently work at McDonald's. I like the food, but I also just like working there because you make a lot of friends at Macca's. It is my first job and I quite like it. I want to do something in hospitality, something with food, working in a commercial kitchen, something like that. I got cancer when I was younger. I guess I was sort of at that stage where I didn't really know what was happening. I didn't fully understand it, so I kind of just went with it.
Josh's symptoms were very mild. So on a Monday morning it was, and I remember he had a bruise on his elbow, and it was really, really painful, like more painful than you would just imagine a normal bruise to be. So we took him to the GP because I thought maybe he had fractured his arm, but we took him to the GP and he saw that there was a bruise on his arm, and from there he ordered an x-ray, and he came home on the Wednesday and he said, you know, the problem with school is that you can't sleep at playtime. I said, what are you talking about? And he said, I'm really, really tired at school and I need to have a sleep during the day. I took him back to the GP and I said, could you please do some more tests because Josh is just not right. When we got to Westmead Hospital, they checked Josh out and they did more blood tests, and that's when one of the doctors and one of the nurses came to see me, and it was a doctor who had the word paediatric oncologist on her badge, and I thought, oh my gosh, you're the last person I ever wanted to see.
My first meeting with Joshua, and he'd been diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which is a type of blood cancer. So most children with his type of leukemia are cured with chemotherapy alone. But very early on in Joshua's journey, it became apparent that his leukemia wasn't responding as well as we'd like to the treatment, which meant to give him the best chance of cure, we needed to offer him a bone marrow transplant, where we give very strong chemotherapy and actually replace the bone marrow, which is the source of the leukemia, with somebody else's healthy bone marrow. So he underwent that procedure within the first year of his treatment.
I'm here because I had a temperature. I may have caught a cold from the camp, and I'm hoping to get out on Saturday, and I'll be joining you back on Monday. Don't learn anything without me.
Josh got through his bone marrow transplant, and quite soon after that, he didn't really respond as quickly as they say you usually do. Maybe a month or so after that, he had relapsed, and so he still had leukemia. That's when they started to think of looking at other options, and that's when I had first ever heard of CAR T therapy.
So CAR T cell therapy is a way of harnessing the immune system. Our immune systems are really powerful, and it's a way of using the immune system and redirecting it against cancer cells.
That's when we were really at the end and that's when the doctor mentioned Josh having some palliative care involvement as well. So we did have palliative nurses who came to visit us quite regularly. So that was a really hard time. That was a really dark time. He went from, in less than 6 months, we'll say 6 months from being, on the palliative care list, but to being somebody who was in remission. It's just a light at the end of a pretty dark tunnel.
So the biggest change in the last 10 years has been the development of immunotherapy, such as CAR T cells, which has really changed the face of paediatric leukemia treatment. To make it clear how important this research is, I sat in numerous discussions with Josh and his family where we were talking about end-of-life palliative care options, and now to see him out living his life, going to school, having a job, CAR T cells potentially offer a new therapy and new hope for these children who may not have other curative options.
You can't imagine what it's like to have a child diagnosed with cancer. For us to have CAR T as an option has just been life-changing. It's such a blessing and such it just gives you such a lot of hope that that's out there. So it's all about hope.
I honestly can't thank them enough for all the work that they did and all the choices that might have been difficult, all the choices that they made that ultimately got me better.